Hey, welcome back to Good Morning Maryland. You know, over the past couple of days, we've gotten you covered across the board on your holiday menu. We've had the stuffing. We've had the sweet potato casserole. Now we're going to dessert. And who better to bring in for this than one of our own viewers from Overly. Miss Catherine Chenoweth has come in with a Dutch apple or Jewish apple cake recipe. Now, before we get in to all of these wonderful ingredients, I want to show our viewers this. This is the original recipe card. I see the stains. How old is this card?
Probably about 40 years old, I would think.
So how long you and your husband have been married?
40 years.
40 years. 40 years of wonderful. Congratulations for that.
I have to give credit to my mother's neighbor, old neighbor, Mrs. Edith Knapp, who gave us the original recipe.
This right here. So what do we have, and what do we have to look forward to?
Well, you start out with the apples, dicing them up, and you add to that about 5 tablespoons of sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and you sort of let that marinate. And then you mix your dry ingredients together, which would be your flour and your sugar, and your, not the sugar, excuse me, the flour and the baking powder and the salt. Sort of set that aside. And
so
then
these are all traditional ingredients.
Oh,
nothing
things you'd have at
that's
home.
a little unusual, right? Now that has to help a lot when putting this together, because we want to make a great cake, and we don't have to get exotic or go to specialty stores to find the ingredients.
And the most time is just spent cutting up the apples, and then there's no icing to be done, so it makes it simpler.
So that's where we are right here. The apples are diced. We've got everything here. It looks to be a little, what is that, a little cinnamon?
It's just the cinnamon and sugar, and it winds up sort of marinating the apples as they leach out their juices.
All right, now we go in here. This is sort of is this what we would call a bundt cake
No,
tray,
this is
or?
a tube pan or an angel food pan, and the best ones are the ones that have the removable core. And they are still produced by Cuisinart and Farberware.
Now we've got the cake itself ready to go right here.
And the batter.
So do we just dump and pour? What are the
Pretty
next
much. The steps are involving a layering of batter on the bottom and then apples, and you do that 3 times, and then you end with batter. So you have to get that in the bottom a little bit first. And it's a heavy batter, so
I was going to say, now that looks thicker than a traditional cake batter.
it is, and you have to sort of spread it around, because remember, you're only putting in about 1/4 of it to begin with. And when you get that in the bottom,
Even it out.
as much as you can.
Now, in 40 years of this recipe, 40 plus years of this recipe, have you changed anything with it, or have you held pretty...
No, it's been the same. It's been the same. And when I asked my old neighbor the other day where it originally came from, she thinks it came from one of her children's mother-in-laws, and many years ago.
So we're going to put the apples in here, and we layer it that way, correct?
Right. So you're gonna figure about 1/4 at a time of your batter, and then about 1/3 of your apple mix. And you spread that around.
Spread that around as well. Now, fast forward a little bit. Now, we get it in the oven. How long are we in the oven?
1 hour and 45 minutes up to 2 hours. I baked it at 1 hour and 45 minutes with that one over there that I finished up with.
All right, let's slide right down here. We've now gone fast forwarded through time here. This is the finished product. Now, it looks wonderful. Golden brown. And just how sweet is it?
It's very good. You have to be careful. That last 15 minutes, if you go all the way to 2 hours, it can get brown very fast on the top. And if you start seeing it get brown, then you know that you've overcooked it.
All right, we're going to have this recipe on our website, abc2news.com. Miss Catherine Chenoweth, thank you so much for the time this morning. Off to a break. Back to wrap things up in just a bit.